Algebra 1, long division. So this is question 5, where we're asked to divide 36x cubed minus 28x plus 8 by 3x minus 2, hence find the other factors. So when doing long division, we always check, if we're given a cubic, have we got every single term in the cubic? So here I can see I have an x cubed term, I have an x term, and I have a constant. So that means the only term that's missing is an x squared. So to replace that missing x squared, we're going to write it as 0x squared, because obviously 0 times anything is 0. It makes it much easier for our long division, and it results in less mistakes to include this 0 term. We're going to divide 3x minus 2 into the cubic, and if it divides in evenly with no remainder, then that means that it must be a factor. So to start our long division, we take the first term and we divide it into the first term. So 3x goes into 36x cubed 12x squared times. So I'm going to line up my x squareds. If you can't remember how to do your division, well, I'll just take that to the side. And that gives us 36x cubed divided by 3x. So 3 goes into 36 12 times. And our indices, we have to remember that when dividing, where the bases are the same, in other words, we have an x and an x term, then we subtract the powers, which is where we're getting our 12x squared from. So I then take this 12x squared term and I multiply it back out by the 3x minus 2. So I have 12x squared by 3x gives us 36x cubed. 12x squared by 2 is minus 24x squared. And then I'm going to subtract each of these terms. So I have 36x cubed minus 36x cubed. So in other words, I'm changing the sign there. And I have 0x squared minus 24x squared. So in other words, that's going to become plus. So you're always changing the signs here because we are subtracting the terms. So that's 0. And then I have 24x squared. I then bring down the minus 28x and we repeat the process all over again. So in other words, I have 3x into 24x squared. So 3 goes into 24 8 times. And x squared divided by x is x. So that gives us 8x. I then take that 8x and I multiply it back out by 3x minus 2. So I have 8x by 3 is 24x squared. 8x by 2 is minus 16x. And then I'm subtracting, so I'm going to change the signs. And I have minus 28x plus 16 gives us minus 12x. And then I bring down my 8 again. And I start the process all over again. So 3x divides into minus 12x. So that's going to be minus 4 times. I take the minus 4 and multiply it back out by 3x minus 2. And you can see here I'm now left with minus 12x plus 8. So when I go to change the signs here, that means everything will cancel and I'm left with 0. And the fact that I'm left with 0 tells me then that there is no remainder. Which means that 3x minus 2 is a factor. So if that's a factor, that means that the product of 3x minus 2 times 12x squared plus 8x minus 4 multiplies back out to give us the cubic. So what we do is we take that quadratic, so 12x squared plus 8x, and I'm going to factorize that. So in other words, I'm going to take the 12, multiply it by minus 4, which is minus 48. And I say, well, what multiplies to give me minus 48 and adds to give me plus 8? So we see it's 12 and minus 4. So 12 times minus 4 gives me minus 48. but 12 minus 4 gives me 8x. So I'm replacing this 8x with these two factors. So 12x squared plus 12x minus 4x minus 4. We group the first two, group the second two, and take out the highest common factor. So that's 12x times x plus 1. And then minus 4 is common between minus 4x and minus 4, which leaves me with x plus 1. These two brackets should always be the same, so I can take out the highest common factor a second time. And that leaves me with 12x minus 4 and x plus 1. So therefore, our three factors is the first one we started with, which is 3x minus 2. And then the quadratic factorised, which is x plus 1 and 12x minus 4. So what that means is if I multiply these three factors back out, I would end up with the original cubic that I started with. So all of those factors divide in evenly into that cubic equation.